Hey friends, it's me, Sierra Sharice. Welcome back to my channel. So as you can tell from the title of the video, we're going to be talking about some tips that I wish I would have knew before starting my lock journey. Tips that I just think is kind of important before you decide to make this very expensive, very permanent hair decision.
See starlight, California skyline. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride.
Before I actually decided to do my establishment, I really didn't do too much research like I should have, like they tell you to do. It's kind of like I woke up and was like, you know what? I'm tired of my hair, tired of dealing with it. I want hair freedom. What are my options? And I've shaved my head before, like the size of my hair, but I didn't really want to go that route. So I started thinking about locks. I started looking at, pictures of locks, the different sizes. I knew I didn't want traditional locks, so I was looking more so into the smaller sizes. And that's really how I got to Sisterlocks. But I will say, if I did more research before actually committing to locks, I probably would have went with Microlocs. Another tip that I would suggest you do before you actually really commit to it is research your loctician. I finally decided that I was going to go with Sisterlocks. One, I didn't even know about Microlocs. When I looked up locks, Sisterlocks just kept popping up. And I didn't really see Microlocs until after I did my establishment. I would say research your loctician. So I didn't do too much of a research either on this part. I know y'all thinking like, what the heck? Especially like you're gonna let somebody play in your head. It wasn't like that, I promise. So I did a little bit of research, but everyone that I wanted to do my hair, every loctician that I really wanted was booked up. And it wasn't like they were just booked up for 1 or 2 months in advance. They were booked up for like 6 months up to a year. And I didn't want to wait that long. Like I wanted my establishment done soon. So I was very impatient when it came to that. I did end up reaching out to my hairstylist who did my hair prior to me getting locked. So I trusted her judgment, or I did trust her. Do trust her judgment. So she linked me up with a loctician, a trainee. So I think she still needed one more head to do to become an official consultant for Sisterlocks. So I believe it was her last head that she needed. Met with her. We did a consult, and she did about three different Sisterlock test locks in my head, and we decided on which one was best for me. And to be honest, I didn't even see any of her photos, any of her pictures, but like I said, I trusted my hairstylist, so I kind of just went with it. And then on top of that, she had availability. Her pricing wasn't bad because she was a trainee, so of course she couldn't charge me like the full price. I only paid $800 for my establishment versus probably paying somewhere in the low thousands. Like I probably would have paid like $1,100 or something like that if I would have went to an actual consultant. We did 3 tester locks. We decided on which locks was going to be best for my hairstyle, or for my head shape and things like that. I want tiny locks because my hair is very thick, so once they mature and swell up, I didn't want them to be like just overpowering and too much hair. So my locks are different sizes throughout my head. The thing I don't like is that my grid isn't the straightest. Like my parts aren't the straightest, and over time your grid does mess up. And so even my new loctician now, she tells me people who have like the perfect grid always are manipulating their hair and manipulating their grid, which eventually will cause damage and things like that. So I try to just ignore it, like, okay, my grid isn't the straightest, it is what it is. My hair still looks good, so I'm good with that. Definitely do your research, because I have heard of some horrible stories of people going to locticians and them just completely messing them up. So thankfully that was not my case. That was not my situation whatsoever. It's so important too, like when you're choosing a loctician, it's not just about how well that person does your hair. It's about their knowledge of your hair, knowledge of how to maintain your hairstyle, just their knowledge, period. Because you're starting something new, you're starting something different that you probably don't have too much information, too much knowledge about. So you need that person that you can ask questions, ask questions about what should you do this, how should you treat your hair, things like that. I would say during your consultation, make sure you're asking all the important questions. Make sure you know what it is that you're getting yourself into. When I say that, ask questions of how long is your establishment going to take? The install days. Mine took 2 days. The first day we didn't do a full 12 hours. I believe we only did about 6 hours. But then the next day, of course, we was there for forever. So my establishment took a total of, I believe it was 26 hours. So you need to know how long your establishment is going to take, how often you're going to do your reties. We decided that we were going to do my reties either between 4 to 6 weeks. But by the time I got to I never did 4 weeks. That was her suggestion. And especially at that time because I was pregnant as well. And so, you know, your hair grows a little quicker when you're pregnant. So I end up doing every 6 weeks. And then we went to like 6 to 8 weeks. But when I say research and ask as many questions as you can, one thing that I didn't do is ask as many questions as I should have. And if I can do it all over again, my main question would have been, how long will our reties take? Reties were taking way too long. Way too long. I think the shortest amount of time that she did my retie was about 6 hours. And the longest time that it took to do my retie was 9 hours. So that means every 6 to 8 weeks, I was sitting in that chair for roughly 6 to 9 hours just to get a retie. And I just couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't take it anymore. And it was so sad because I ended up leaving that loctician. She maintained my hair for, she did my install, and she maintained my hair for about 6 months. And then I was actually able to get in with another loctician who still currently does my hair now. But I really hated to leave though because her energy was dope. We really vibed. Like, that's another thing too. You need to make sure that, you know, your energy is aligned. You don't need someone in your hair or just being around that person if their energy doesn't align with you as well. So her energy was dope, energy aligned, everything, good conversation, everything like that. It's just that it was just taking too long to do reties. So I had to find somebody else. So my current loctician, she does my reties in about 2.5 hours. I think we went over 2.5 hours one time, and if we did, it might have took her 2 hours and 45 minutes or something like that. Know what you're getting yourself into. A lot of people just assume that, oh, because you got locks, that you're on the spiritual journey, which wasn't the case for me. You know, I'm not knocking anybody who's on their spiritual journey and they decide to switch over and get locks. Do you? But for me, it was more so just the hair freedom. Like, I needed that. I wanted that. I yearned for that hair freedom. I got so tired of just always constantly worrying about my hair, what's going on with it, just what hairstyles I was going to wear, if I was working out, or if I didn't want to just get my hair, you know, it was just too much. It was too much. So for me, I decided to get locks because of the hair freedom. I also felt like it was going to be cheaper. It was going to be a cheaper route to do it versus me getting my hair done either every week, every 2 weeks, or even doing like knotless braids or full locks or some type of protective style every 2 months. I don't think that is really cheaper. So that's why I said know what you're getting yourself into. Know how often you're gonna get your hair done. Like, know how often you're gonna do your reties, how much it's gonna cost. My first loctician, she charged $175. But my current loctician, she just went up on her prices. When I first got with her, her pricing was $145. I think I've been with her for a little over 6 months now, so it might have been like 8 months roughly, and she just went up to $160. So I pay $160 every 6 to 8 weeks to get my hair redone or retied. I think my final tip that I had to learn for myself was patience. And it's not even just patience with your hair, which is very, very true. That's very important. But it's just more so just patience in your journey. You know, don't rush your journey. Everyone's journey is completely different. Do not compare yourself and your journey to others. Just be mindful of your thought process. You know, enjoy the ride. Just relax, take lots of pictures, lots of videos, so that way you can see the comparison. But enjoy the ride of you going into something new. Trust your process. Let your locks flourish when they're supposed to flourish. So overall, I would say research. Don't just jump into something just because it's the new trend or it's the new fad or anything like that, or you think it looks cool. Be mindful of the pricing, be mindful of your time, and be mindful that I'll say it's semi-permanent, because of course you could, remove your locks if you really want to. It takes a lot of time and effort, or you shave your head off, whatever. But just be mindful of these things before you just jump in and join the lock gang. If you have any additional tips that people should be mindful of before starting your lock process, definitely drop them in the comments. And if this video helped you at all, go ahead and subscribe and go ahead and click on that like button.
Hands on your thighs, lost in your eyes. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride.